The Fall Guy. If you told me that a Lee Majors TV show from the 80s was going to get remade into a feature film with Ryan Gosling, I thought, wow, it's going to be directed by David Leitch. That sounds like an action packed, crazy film. It's going to be like, wow. And let's talk about this film because it's not what I expected. So maybe if you're not from the 80s, you wouldn't remember that Lee Majors, after $6 Million Man, had 5 years as the Fall Guy. He was as big as ever as an action star on TV.
I've been on fire with Sally Field, gone fast with a girl named Bo, but somehow they just don't end up as mine.
And we all watched The Fall Guy, not only because of Lee Majors, because that's what our moms wanted to watch, because Heather Thomas was on there. And instead, we get Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, who are both fine in this sort of like quasi action stuntman film. And Colt Seavers, or this version of Colt Seavers, is a Hollywood stunt guy who kind of abandons his career and his girlfriend, Emily Blunt, Jody, after a freak accident on a stunt goes wrong. He's injured. He's shown 18 months later with like this little device on his back, and he works as like a valet and stuff. Then he gets a call from a producer. Her name is Gail. Let's get back in the game, and it's going to be a film directed by Jodie. She's getting her big shot on this sci-fi epic film with this, Tom Ryder. He's the Tom Cruise of his era. Obviously, Colt was his stunt man. So, yeah, perfect fit, right? Everything's going to go well. No, sadly, the other stunt guy for Tom Ryder, he's been killed. And they're going to pin that on Colt Seavers. And that's the actioner that we get. Colt trying to prove his innocence and help Jody and put the world back together. David Leitch is got a long resume of some pretty successful stunt stuff, comes from a background in stunt. So, yeah, the trailer shows you a few of those highlights, and some of those things actually are pretty cool. The problem with the movie is a lot of stuff doesn't happen. It takes a long while for certain things to kind of actually work. Like, I got to be honest, after like the first 30 minutes or so, and it's basically just Ryan Gosling sipping for Jody the whole time and then getting attacked by some sort of crazy lady with a sword, which, by the way, it's supposed to be a prop sword, but it cuts like something by the coffee maker. It cuts into the wall, but it's a prop sword. So the movie doesn't even take itself very seriously because it immediately does. And I think there's a quick shot in the trailer of this as well. Colt in this like neon yellow jumpsuit hoodie going down, pretending to be Tom Ryder to go meet the drug dealer. He ends up getting drugged and sees a unicorn. And that gag went on and on and on because even when there's a split screen, it's going to go back to Jody. They have a split screen that is him looking at the unicorn. Like,
You serious?
I okay. We finally have some fight scenes and a musical montage and Colt Seaver on stunt doing things and whatever. It's all great, right? It's always interrupted by, meanwhile, let's have Ryan Gosling simp for Jody. Like it just never stopped. Like it's Colt Seavers is not the manly man, the Lee Majors of the Fall Guy. He's this Ken for Barbie. It's like literally that type of guy, just simping for her the entire time. And it really, really was old. There's some good moments and some great fan service. I love the reference to the Miami Vice and that kind of thing. But basically, the concept of pinning this on the stuntman, this murder on him, and how it all supposed to be twists and turns. There's only so many characters in the movie, so we kind of figure it out because there's just not enough people that it could be. Like it really wasn't that complicated of a film because there's just no one in it. So your twist doesn't really have a lot of weight whenever there's only like 4 or 5 characters that it could be, right? Anyway, they record the confession, all works out, and blah blah blah, and that's where it goes. And then I don't know. Now they're going to have this film. It's at San Diego Comic Con with Jason Momoa now, and the film is a blockbuster hit. Colts, he's free, and he and Jodie are together, and that's the end of it. I was so let down by this movie. I expected, even with the simping and all that stuff with Jodie, I thought, well, okay, this is like the new version of a prequel setting up the fall guy that we get. Like at the end, he's not going to stay being a stuntman. He's going to basically be the bounty hunter that we see with Lee Majors, and he'll be masculine, he'll be toxic, he'll be something. Yeah, this movie is a very vanilla, generic version of kind of how it's billed. It's got some great action moments in it, but at the same time, it can't get out of its own way. Cool behind the scenes stuff to see kind of seeing how stunts are made and some different shots and things like that. Seeing the chaos of a production, if you're kind of into some of that stuff, because a lot of that stuff was pretty true to the fact. A lot of chaos on sets, directors in over their heads, people arguing, biting, fighting all the time, watching trailers, trying to figure out shots, all that kind of stuff. I liked all of that more than the actual story, which probably is not a good thing for your film. So I don't know if any of you saw this or not. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, everybody. I got to go figure out how to get copies of the Fall Guy now because I can't find copies of the Fall Guy, the Lee Majors version. So I would like that'd be kind of cool to watch. I realized they may have only released the first couple seasons, never even the last three. Like, what is happening? So I got some work to do there as well. So thanks, everybody. I'm Pops.
I might fall from a tall building, I might roll a brand new car, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that made Redford such a star.